back. On today's quick video, we're going to talk about scams and how to avoid them. So today when I was searching around, I found an article by Experian on Experian.com talking about the latest scams you need to be aware of in 2025. Today we're going to talk about one of those, and we'll cover several others as we go through the video series. But this lists a few of them. So real quick, let's run through them. They talk about AI scams, which are high risk, imposter scams, sextortion scams targeting children and teens, romance scams, phone-related scams, cryptocurrency and investment scams, online purchase scams, and employment scams. And then there's check fraud, and it goes on for a couple others. But it would be good to read this video. On today's video, though, we're going to talk about the first one on the list, which was AI scams. Now, AI is becoming more and more prevalent in our daily lives. It has a lot of time-saving features, and it's amazing in what it can do, but it also has some tools that allow scammers to try to get more money from us. So let's walk through this real quick, and it talks about different options. It talks about the FBI posting in public service bulletins, talking about some of the ways criminals use generative AI to trick victims. And here's a few of the different pieces that are involved. Phishing or smishing. Now, we've got a different video on smishing. You can check our videos on that. But phishing is becoming more and more common, and the danger, I think, with what's happening with phishing is it's becoming more and more sophisticated. If you go to Norton's website, norton.com, it talks about some social media phishing emails, and this is where I see it becoming more and more problematic. The emails used to come across really tacky, really cheesy, and be very easy to identify if they were real or not. In today's world, though, those videos or the emails are becoming harder and harder to tell if it's actually from a legitimate source or not. The biggest way that we can check is by actually hovering over the item, not clicking on where it says reply, hovering, and you'll be able to see the link. If it's not going directly to that web page, you can have a pretty good idea it's a scam. Here's a little caveat to that, though. A lot of companies are now using third-party marketing companies like Constant Contact or Chimp Mail or some of the other, or MailChimp, I guess it is. So there's some services that they're using for marketing that if you hover over that icon, you won't know if it's the right one or not. So if you ever get an email that you're even a little bit suspicious of, or kind of a good rule of thumb in general is if you get an email from a service provider that you do use, go directly to their website. For example, with this, it's for LinkedIn. Go directly to LinkedIn. You should be able to find the message directly from them as opposed to just going through your email. Another one that I have personally seen is PayPal. We get a lot of PayPal requests or invoices that purport to come from PayPal. Something that you can do a lot of times is check in the subject line here where it shows who the sender is. And if it's not directly from paypal.com, it's a high probability of being a scam. Here where it says confirm your information, that'll be a link taking you to a website. You should be able to go directly to PayPal's website for that and enter any information that's necessary there, not clicking on a link that comes from this email. Now, the article talks about different ways you can tell if it's from an email, and it says in this particular one, the user's name hasn't been specified. Well, that's very interesting because PayPal should know who you are, and if they don't address you by name, it's a good indicator that you may not be dealing with the right entity. Now, that's not for sure because I also get other emails from people that do have my name, and a lot of times what those are is they're just, again, they're phishing. They're throwing out a million emails knowing that they're probably going to get about 10% of them right, and about 1% of those people will respond. And because it costs them maybe $100 if they're using a service or nothing if they're not, that net that they're casting out there wide, it only needs to bring in a couple of victims, unfortunately, and they're able to make money on it. Amazon issues are happening more and more where people are sending links out saying, hey, your order has a problem, click here. Or we're sending you a fake gift card, click here, and you go to a different website. You may get malware on your computer, which then can do a lot of different damage to your computer. It can search your computer for passwords or other items. It can use a keystroke logger to watch the websites you go to, the username and passwords that you enter on those websites. Those are all different things, or it can try to take control of your Amazon account and start ordering things from Amazon that you never authorized. So those are different things that you need to watch out for phishing. Google Docs is the same thing. They may send out a link on Google Docs to an email that would take you to different links that you really don't want to go to. It may say, hey, we're taking you over to google.com, and it takes you to a alternate site that looks very much like Google, or it looks very much like PayPal, Amazon, whatever it is. but it's not, and it's actually logging all of your information, and then it can use that information to log on to your account, get access to your credit cards, to your orders, everything that you may not want them to have. As we get into tax season, expect to see more IRS phishing emails. You'll see things like this that talk about, "Dear taxpayer, we hope this message finds you well. We're letting you know there's a problem. Click here and enter in all of your personal information and maybe even a credit card or whatever else." And people are afraid of the IRS. They're afraid that they're doing something wrong, or that the IRS is going to try to tell them that their tax returns are filed incorrectly. The problem with the scam is, or the key with the scam is, if they can get your IRS information, or if they can get you to try to file through them. There are scammers now that will file a fake tax return on your behalf, get the refund, and leave you holding the bag for the erroneous tax return and the erroneous refund. And the IRS doesn't mess around when they're coming back trying to get their money. This one I've seen more and more and more. Suspended account phishing emails. I see it for email accounts typically, but you'll see it for Netflix or other streaming services or other services that you may have. You'll get an email that says your account's been suspended. You need to update your information, including your credit card number. Please click here. And it takes you out to that account. Again, this could easily be avoided by ignoring this email, going directly to Netflix or whoever the sender is, and verifying with them directly on their website that you typed in, not clicking the link, to know that you are actually dealing with the appropriate entity. So I'm seeing more and more of these phishing attempts. I'm seeing more and more of AI generated type information. This is one scam that we need to be aware of and watch out for. Now let's take this a little bit different direction. The deep fakes that we're hearing also are videos that are created by AI that look like they're being done by legitimate entities, but they're not. A lot of people have seen the videos of Keanu Reeves that make him appear to be doing things that he's never done. And that's just one instance, and those are usually lighthearted and humorous. Where it's not lighthearted and humorous is when you get a video that looks very legitimate, but it's generated by AI, and it's expecting you to do something or encouraging you to do something that you shouldn't do that could be harmful to you financially or otherwise. So watch out for those. We're going to get a little bit more into the altered voices and videos and phone-based scams in the next video, so stay tuned for that. That should be coming out in our next release in a couple of days. If this type of content is helpful to you, please give us a like down below. If you'd like to see more of this content, consider subscribing to the channel. And if you know someone this may benefit, please do consider sharing the video with them. Thanks for being here. We'll see you on the next one.